What's good, everybody? It's your boy J-Rod and welcome to the channel. My name is J-Rod. I do videos on travel, language learning, and life experiences, particularly right now covering the Dominican Republic. So if you're interested into that type of content, please hit that subscribe button and we can get this video started. All right, so in today's video, we're going to be covering, are Dominicans faithful in relationships? Now, before I start this video, please, because I know what y'all gonna do. Y'all gonna see this title, y'all gonna see the title of this video, and then y'all gonna start writing, oh, here go black people, y'all obsessed, y'all talking about Dominicans. All right, let me make this very clear that this was off of Instagram. So I put up a poll on Instagram asking for video topics. All right, and one of the topics someone had asked was, are Dominicans faithful in relationships? Now, let me be specific. This was a Latina woman who asked this question, okay? Because I know what y'all like to do. Y'all like to be like, oh, here he go, he talking crap about Dominicans, when I'm simply just answering a question, all right? All right, now that that's established that I'm only just answering a question, we can move on with this video. All right, so the question is, are Dominicans faithful in relationships? Now, I'm gonna be completely honest, I'm not a real big fan of questions like this because they're kind of set up to be very black and white or put people in a box, okay? In life, I don't really believe in black and white scenarios. There are only so many things in the real world that I would consider black and white. So, you know, questions like this or scenarios like this, I don't really believe that they fit in a black and white category. And, you know, they kind of like generalize people. So that's the only reason why I'm not like a big fan of questions like this. Now, to be honest, I could answer this question in 2.3 seconds, but then we won't have a video, okay? And I know you guys want substance, okay? So I'm gonna try my best to answer this question based from my experience, all right? All right, now based from experience, this is what I tell everybody, okay? I tell all my travelers this. Anybody who travels to the DR, this is what I tell people, all right? If you're a foreigner, if you are not on that island physically, do not be surprised if you are in a situation where the person is seeing somebody or has already seen someone. Let me repeat this again. If you're not on the island physically, I'm talking about in the flesh, all right, I'm taking y'all to church. If you are not on the island physically, do not be surprised if the person is seeing or has already seen someone, okay? Now, what does this mean for all my subscribers who are in relationships right now with people overseas? Does this mean that their partner is cheating? Absolutely not. I want y'all to listen closely. I said if. I said do not be surprised if, meaning that there could be a possibility, okay? So I want people to listen to me closely and understand that I'm not saying that your partner is cheating, okay? Because I don't want people freaking out and start being paranoid and be like, oh, like, are you cheating on me while you overseas? Like, no. No, I'm saying that there could be a possibility because you're not there and you're not physically on the island to see what's going on. So if a situation arises like that, do not be surprised because you're not physically there. That's what I'm saying. And I guess because I've already, you know, lived in the Dominican Republic, nothing really surprises me anymore on this island. But what I'm saying is that this is very common in overseas type of situations. So there's just something you need to keep in the back of your mind. I'm not saying go accuse your partner, but just keep it in the back of your mind, all right? Now, why do I say this? I say this because from my personal experience living in the Dominican, oh wait, my bad, somebody texted me. All right, so in my personal experience from living in the Dominican Republic, I noticed that many people don't respect boundaries when it pertains to relationships, okay? Now guys, this is not coming from me. Actual Dominicans from the Dominican Republic have said the same thing, okay? Before people think I'm trying to like talk shit, one thing I say on this channel is I'm always gonna keep it real and I'm always gonna keep it a buck, okay? Now, this is not just coming from my mouth, but actual Dominicans have said this themselves, okay? I can call up my homeboy right now and he will tell you the same thing. Matter of fact, let me do this right now. Let me call him real quick. ¿Qué lo que? ¿Dónde tú estás? ¿Estás ocupado? Yeah, I'm about to ask you a question real quick. Okay, pero en inglés por mis seguidores. Like, let's say like I'm dating somebody. I noticed that like down there, people, they don't really respect relationships. Sometimes people, you know, they'll try to flirt with your girl or, you know, like they don't respect the relationship. What are your thoughts on that?
Do you think what is the reason of that?
Yeah, why do you think that Dominicans have a hard time respecting relationships?
When it comes to people like on the neighborhood, they don't respect that because people aren't open to have multiple choices, you know? Like, how can I say? You know what they think? They say like, if I can have one, why can I have two? You know what I mean? Like, that's how they think. Like, if I have a girl, right, and that girl doesn't know that I have another one, it doesn't matter because that's the whole point. That's not like this is not reason for that. You know what I mean? Like they only do it because they wanna be the alpha guy. You know, they believe that if they have many girls, they might be better. That's not okay. It depends on the education. That's what I say. You know, I don't want to be disrespectful with anyone. You know, I don't believe in that shit. That's what I think. But people don't respect relationship, but it comes with education. You got it?
Yeah. All right, you answered that perfectly.
Yeah.
All right, man. I appreciate it.
No, you know I'm here for you. Anything that you want, I'm be here.
All right, bro. Hasta luego. Am I lying? I'm not making this stuff up, okay? That came from an actual Dominican from the Dominican Republic who said these words. So before people try to be like, oh, like, look, he talking crap on Dominicans, he obsessed with Dominicans, and he blah, 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 blah. I'm telling you, these are actual words from Dominican. I don't sugarcoat stuff on this channel, okay? And if you don't like that, it is what it is. But, you know, like he said, that is very common. You can be in a relationship with somebody and, you know, people, they just don't respect the relationships or they feel like they could just cross those boundaries. A lot also has to do with, like, the type of person that it is, because I don't want to say every Dominican is like this, because I know some really, really nice Dominicans who are very faithful and, you know, they don't cheat on their partners and stuff. And let me get this straight. I'm not saying that Americans are saints either, okay? Because Americans cheat on their partners too. So this ain't exclusive to just only Dominicans, okay? Americans cheat as well. But what I'm saying is down there, boundaries are very shaky and people, they could care less if you're in a relationship, okay? Prime example, I was in Colonial Zone one time with my girl. Okay, we was finna leave. I told her because she go into the restaurant to get the Wi-Fi code so we can call the Uber. So I sent her into the restaurant. So while I'm waiting outside the restaurant, all right, she's going up the steps. A chick comes by and she starts talking to me. Long story short, the chick, she was trying to get a hotel with me, you know, and then I pretty much saw, I was like, look, I got a girl. She's in the restaurant right now. She's waiting for me. All right, so then she just kind of brushes it off like it's whatever. And then she's like, all right, so what's your WhatsApp? I'm like, Ma, I told you. I'm like, I'm with my girl right now. I'm like, she probably looking over the balcony, looking at us talking, okay? Because like the way where we were standing, it was like a balcony above us where she was talking to the, I guess like the cashier lady or the waiter. I'm like, she's probably looking at us talking right now. That's one argument or headache that I'm not trying to deal with because I hate getting in arguments with my girl. But the point that I'm trying to make is the girl, she just simply did not care that I was in a relationship. Like, I was like, damn, like that's disrespectful. But guys, this has happened multiple times, okay? Same scenario happened again. One time I was talking to one of my homeboys. We was having a deep conversation and then a girl comes by, you know, she trying to do the same thing, trying to get the little boom boom in the hotel. I pretty much told her, I was like, look, my wife is at home. And then she was like, she did not care. She did not give a f. This happens over and over again. People tell me about their different experiences and stuff. Like I got like a couple of guys I'm cool with, you know, they be telling me like how one thing that wasn't sitting well with them is like if they be with a girl and then, you know, other guys be catcalling, they don't really like that because it's disrespectful. Like where I'm from, you can't do that, bro. Bro, that is so disrespectful. But the point that I'm trying to make is that boundaries are not really a thing down there when it comes to relationships. I'm not gonna say for every Dominican because I do have some Dominicans that watch my channel and y'all support me. Okay, so I'm not trying to like shade y'all or whatever, but what I do notice is like when I'm down there, you know, it's like you tell people you're in a relationship. A lot of times it goes in one ear and out the other. And there's been some other experiences too that I can't really talk about on YouTube, okay? Like that's some Patreon type of shit. Okay, but I can't really go into detail on this video, but guys, like I'm not making this shit up. People do not care down there. So for that reason, it goes back to what I'm saying. I don't really do long distance relationships with people overseas. I don't really trust it. Okay, I mean, the same thing can happen in Puerto Rico too, okay? So I'm not just saying this is exclusively to Dominicans or whatever, but you know, I just don't like the idea of me not being there and not being able to see the person. The only way that long distance is really gonna work is if both of y'all have trust and y'all already established a relationship. Like for example, if you already established a relationship, you know, with this person, y'all been together for a while and then, you know, y'all end up separated somehow and y'all doing a long distance type of thing. All right, maybe I might do it like that because we already established this relationship. Now, if this is just one of those things where we just kind of hooked up and we was vibing and kicking it down there and then I go back to the States, all right, I don't really trust that. Now, here's the part where people need to understand the difference between a relationship and a vacationship, because I don't think people understand what a true relationship is, all right? And a lot of these guys and girls, y'all end up in situations down there and y'all think y'all are in a relationship, but you are not actually in a relationship, okay? No, this is what happened. You went down to the DR, you found somebody because y'all had mutual commonalities, Y'all hooked up, y'all did the thing, you end up going back to the States, and now you're funding this person's lifestyle because according to them, they feel that if you're not helping them, then you don't love them, okay? So you have now officially signed up for a monthly payment plan. That's what you did. That's a vacationship. That is not a relationship. So many people tell me about these different stories about how, like, you know, they feel like their partner isn't faithful and blah, blah, blah. And I keep telling them, like, you were never in a real relationship to begin with. I want people to be honest with themselves and understand how to identify a real relationship, okay? If you are only seeing this person once a year or maybe twice a year, every blue moon, you are not in a relationship, okay? You cannot be in a relationship with somebody and you're only seeing them every couple of years. Like, I know one guy, he hasn't seen his girl in years. I'm like, dude. And it's like, I don't even want to like go in, and I'm not trying to hurt nobody's feelings, but I'm just saying, come on guys, like, let's be realistic, let's be adults, let's be real with ourselves, okay? How can you be in love with somebody if you don't even speak the language? You don't even have the basic knowledge to hold a simple conversation besides hola, como estás, bien y tú. Like, you can't even get past that. How can you say that you are in love with somebody who you can't even communicate with, okay? The only thing that y'all are using is each other for personal gain. You're using them for your personal gain and vice versa. They're using you for their personal gain, okay? Those are not real relationships. So for that reason, you can't say that Dominicans are unfaithful and they're not treating you right when y'all were never in a relationship to begin with. You need to learn how to identify what is an actual relationship and a hookup under circumstances, okay? Like, ask yourself, what are you really giving to that person, to the relationship, other than monetary value? Because that seems to be the thing with a lot of these people. And then to a lot of you guys, and I say guys, but I mean girls too, okay? But a lot of you, you know, y'all looking through like Latin American Cupid and Tinder and Tag and stuff like that. And there's nothing wrong with like dating apps. You know, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But what I was telling one of my friends the other day is that dating apps are just for hookups, okay? Like, let's be honest, most people don't use dating apps because they're really trying to date. Everybody goes on dating apps because it's just a quick hookup, okay? And then you might have the chance where you find somebody special, and then, you know, it might be more than that, okay? Because I do know some people who, you know, they found their soulmate through dating apps. So I'm not, you know, I'm not saying anything's wrong with that, but what I'm just saying is, I just want y'all guys to understand that a lot of you guys who come down here on vacation and you find somebody, y'all need to know when you are actually in a relationship. And maybe I need to make a video about that, you know, how to know when you're in an official relationship other than a vacationship, because I don't think people really understand the difference. I might make a video on that. I'm not gonna make no promises. All right, so in the end, to answer to your question is, it's definitely situational, okay? It's not fair to put everybody in the box. I can't say that all Dominicans are unfaithful, okay? Because you can easily say that about Americans, because there are a lot of Americans who cheat on their partners. You can go to India, Pakistan, Egypt, okay, all around the world, people cheat and people are unfaithful. So you can't just say that, you know, all Dominicans are unfaithful. But what I will say is that it's definitely situational and it depends on the person, and at least be in a relationship before you say that somebody's unfaithful. All right, that's it for this video. Bye.